Hi everybody, I wanted to go over some of the basics with NetSuite that we didn't do primarily because they were covered in the first 3 courses of the program, but I do think it's important that we do recover them, especially for those who were exempted and didn't take them. And I'm going to be testing these on the final exam because they're some of the more critical accounting processes that you should know how to do in an accounting system. Okay, so things like generating a sales invoice, processing a payment, a receivable or an accounts payable, creating a purchase order, setting up a customer, setting up a vendor, adding an inventory item, okay, things like that. So I'm going to try to walk through all these different things for you so that you can come back and review this and then try it within your own systems as well, okay? So make sure you're logged in as an administrator, and what I want you to do is to go to transactions, sales. So the first thing we're going to do is generate a sales invoice. Okay, so transaction sales, we go down to create invoices. All right, the invoice number will populate itself. Okay, remember the database is already, it contains tons of data. The date will populate. It puts in the due date based on what we've set up as our standard payment terms of net 30. Okay, posting period, we're currently in November 2015, so it's picking up a posted period also of November 2015. Customer, I created one that was called ABC. So there it is, ABC. Okay, if we had a PO, we would enter it here. Let's just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you can pick the location that you want to apply this invoice for. Okay, so who is going to get this sales? This is where we talked about segmented sales and reporting by different divisions or locations. So if this is a sale that should be allocated to Boston, I would select Boston. Then I go down to the bottom. Okay, you can enter sales information, who's the rep that this sales invoice belongs to, lead source, if you want to be able to track, for commission purposes, for performance evaluations, you can enter, the origin of where this sales opportunity came from, which is a great little tool to have. You pick your currency. We know we're in US here. So now item, okay, so this is what it is that we've sold to this customer, and I did set up, again, something that was called ABC. So let's see if we can look it up on our list. So if you need to find something, because there's tons of inventory available, I would just enter ABC here in the search box, and then I would hit search, and then that's the item, double click it, and there it is. Okay, 1 unit, price level custom. We can set whatever we want this price to be. So if I put $125, I've left it at not taxable, so we're not worrying about taxes. And then we say save. And it's thinking, we see it circling, waiting. Invoice has been generated. So remember, once you get this confirmation with the green check mark, you know that it's worked out for you. We have our invoice number. Everything is good to go. Now I just want to kind of show you, what else you can do and how quickly you can do things. So let's say, this invoice we're putting in after the fact for whatever reason. So let's say this actually happened a week ago, but we're only just getting around to entering it into our system. What a wonderful thing that we can do is they've given us a check to pay for this, and we've deposited the check. We want to make sure that our accounts receivable is up to date and accurate, so we don't want to leave this as an amount that's still open to be collected, because it's not. So right away we can go and click accept payment. And it says Where's it going? We want to apply to our checking account. We have a payment reference number, similar to when you pay your bills on online banking. Okay, that's the same idea. Did they take any discount? Have they paid it all? I have 2 in here because I was playing around with this. So I want to click both and say that they've paid us for both of these items and hit save. Deposited, transaction confirmed. We've applied $150 to customer AVC. They no longer owe us any money. So I thought that it was great just to kind of show you how you can just take that sales invoice and immediately apply a payment for it and get that balance taken care of if that's the case. We can also take a look at the GL impact. So if you want to see exactly how this was going to impact your general ledger, we see that we have a debit to the checking account of $150 and a credit to accounts receivable of $150. So going back to your basic accounting 101, we're accepting a payment, so we're getting cash, so we need to increase that asset account, and the amount that's receivable to us, the accounts receivable balance, we need to decrease it because it's no longer money that we are expecting to receive. So there's our credit. So being able to see the GL impact is a really great way to make sure that everything was posted the way it was supposed to. Then you can click return to payment and we're back to where we were. And that, what I just clicked on there, it said go to register. Okay, and this is another great, again, to show it all together for you. You can go click to your accounts receivable register, and then you can see all of your balances outstanding. And because we know that AVC was paid off, they won't have a balance in here, but we can see everybody else that owes us money. So it's great just the way that everything kind of links together for us, and how we can just walk through and complete a sales invoice, apply the payment, and then confirm that it came off of our register, all within a matter of minutes. So the speed of it is really fantastic compared to another system where you might have to enter an invoice in one place and then apply your cash in another screen and then run your accounts receivable report to make sure that the balance was taken off offline. Here we're just we're able to continue to click through to get to the end really quickly. I mean, it took us probably 2 minutes to complete those 3 series of transactions, so that's pretty fantastic. And you probably can't get much more efficient than that, I would say. So that's I wanted to show you that in terms of sales and accounts receivable. So now if I asked you to create a purchase order, okay, so now we want to create a purchase order for one of our vendors. So same idea, we go to transactions, okay, everything starts here, and we want to create a purchase. I want to enter a purchase order. It's thinking about it, bear with me. So the PO number will automatically populate. Again, it'll pick up whatever date your current today's date is. If that's not accurate, you change it to what you want it to be. Okay, vendor name, I'm going to go again. I want my AVC. So who needs this product that we're ordering? I'll click Boston again, just for the sake of consistency. And again, remember, allowing you to select your location allows you to run your reports based on location, so that you can have that specific location level detail instead of everything being consolidated into one. Okay. Again, your currency. What is it that we want to order? So I'm going to grab my list again. And again, I'm going to enter AVC and I'm going to search it. And I'm going to click that. And I had already set up this inventory item, and I'll show you a walkthrough on that in just a couple of minutes. So I had already set it up that when I buy this unit from the vendor, that it's cost me $25. It gives you an expected receipt date, and then you just go ahead. I just put 1 unit just for the sake of putting 1, and I can say save. You must enter Why didn't it keep that? Give me 1 sec. Sorry, guys. AVC, search. AVC, click, click, click. Enter. All right, you have to click enter to make sure that it takes you to the next line before you can click save. And now I'll hit save. And there we have our confirmation. PO number 1370. Everything is good to go, and we have a little note here that says that this purchase order is pending receipt. Okay, so right now the system is saying we haven't received these goods yet, so just letting us know that we have to wait to receive it, and that's an excellent internal control on the accounts payable side, that we know that this has not yet been received. So if we get an invoice from the vendor for this, we can go back and say, well, we're not paying this because we haven't received it, okay? And then what would happen is, we have someone probably in a warehouse or distribution center who's going to be receiving deliveries from vendors on a daily basis. They're going to get some paperwork. The paperwork is going to reference PO number 1370. Then that associate will either have access to the receiving function within NetSuite, or they will send communication to someone in accounts payable to say, this listing of purchase orders, give the number, they've all been received and at these quantities. Please make sure you do that in the system, that you enter the receipts so that these invoices can get paid when they're invoiced to the company. So the other great thing here now about NetSuite is, if I knew right away, if someone told me that this purchase order had already been received, I can just go down here, click receive, confirm. I ordered 1 unit of something called 8VC. It was 1 unit, $25, and it went to Boston. Perfect. I can click save, and it links it right here to the purchase order number. Transaction saved. Fantastic. Is there anything else that I want to do? Yes, there is. I want to go back. Let's see if I can go back one more. Actually, I'm just going to go click here, sorry, to purchase order 1370. So now that I'm back at my purchase order, I want to bill this. I'm going to click save. And then I want to make a payment, okay? So I've said that I've received the bill from so I started with my purchase order, and then I received it, and then I billed the receipts, which means that I've got that invoice from the vendor, and now I want to make a payment against this bill or invoice. Okay, so I'll say make payment. It's going to come out of our main checking account. The date is fine, it's today's date. The amount is the $25. I'm not taking any discount. Let's go ahead and apply this payment. Confirmation successful. So we paid $25. We still owe them $922,000, but I know that it's been taken care of, and that's perfect. And if I want, again, I can go to the register now on the accounts payable side, and then I can go through to make sure that my balance is what I anticipate my balance to be based on my accounts payable reconciliations. And again, similar to the accounts receivable, within a matter of minutes, we're able to go from creating a purchase order to entering the receipt to billing or generating or receiving that invoice for it, and then making the payment, and then lastly confirming that everything went correctly through our system and that the amount has been reduced from our accounts payable balance. So within a matter of minutes, we're able to complete all these steps, within accounts payable or accounts receivable. And that can, if you had to do that in a more manual sense, again, it would just take you so much longer. So this is really, efficiency at its best, I would say. A couple of other things that I wanted to show you guys. So if we go to lists, accounting, items. Okay, they call it items, but this is where your inventory items are, what you sell or, what you order. You can list them here. So this is when I created that $25 item. I just came to lists, accounting item, and I said, let's create a new item. I wanted to create an inventory item. If you want to piggyback off of another item, you would click it here as sub item. I just came in here and I said AVC, so if I enter AVC number 2, I can create something new. You can, pick the unit type. Is it a single? Is it something that's measured in length? Is it a package? So you have a couple of different options here. Is it something that's weighted? If that applies to you, you can come right here, or else by default I believe it goes to each. You can pick your stock unit levels, your sales units. This is if it bundles when you sell it. Is there a particular amount of units? And same for purchase. Do you want to sell it in units or singularly? Then you can choose your costing method for the item. So their standard is to use the average costing method. Cost category, do you need to make any particular allocations for the cost category of these items, or just default to the general cost category and let everything apply or get coded to that? So we're not going to touch that. If you're doing any transfers, between the company, you can set your transfer price. So this is a great feature within NetSuite as well. You can record the purchase price that you're buying it from your vendor at. So right now we're setting up the item that we sell to our customers, but if we wanted to, we could record the price that we buy this product at. We can enter a bit of a description if we want. We can select carriers that we want to use, make notes about particular shipping methods. So you have really a lot of options when it comes to how to enter, how much information you want to enter about these items. You can select, you can for each location that you have. So we have Boston, San Fran, Arizona, Delaware. You can add more inventory information. So if you have it available to you, the quantity of units you have on hand, what is your reorder point? If you know that something sells really well in Boston, you might want to have a higher reorder point to make sure that you always have stock. You can select your preferred stock level, give yourself amount of days of lead time, a safety stock level, a return cost that you've negotiated with your vendors. It's pretty great, the amount of information that you do have available. So all I would want to do up here is put my purchase price, and I'll just put $50 for the sake of $50. And then I'm going to go back down and I'm going to hit save, and it should save it for us as AVC item number 2. And there it is. We're green, confirmation. So I've created an inventory item AVC number 2 at a purchase price of $50. So it should call up. So whenever I create a purchase order for this item, it'll automatically populate the purchase price for me. The only thing that you have to make sure, obviously, is that if your pricing changes with your vendors, that you do come back and obviously adjust that within your system to make sure that it's up to date when you're creating purchase orders, and that you don't have issues between POs and your invoices, and then you have to go back and forth with your vendors. So those are a couple of the basics that I wanted to make sure you guys were aware of. Okay, so how to create a sales invoice, how to apply payments, how to create purchase orders, and how, where you would go if you wanted to create some inventory items. So hopefully, this little demo worked for you guys, and I would love it if you could go into your systems and just, pick. You can use your AVC. You should be able to see that as well as a vendor and a customer. Or if you just want to use anything that's available within your database, just to make sure that you're able to generate some invoices. I think that would be a great learning exercise for everyone. And that's it. So thank you very much, everyone.